Yo, what's up? What's going on, everybody? It's Super Dave back again with the PA Political Revolution podcast. Back at it again, about to give you some good information. This time we're about to go on the Streaks workshop, right? We're about to go ahead and do this reaction video, this reaction slash me commentating about this little workshop they had came up, right? About the streets. Now let's go ahead and check this out. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all the crazy stuff that's going on up in here. And let's go ahead and kind of get to it. Now I'm going to show you what's going on, right? This was the meeting, November 17th. Here we go.
Okay, excuse me. Good morning. We ready? City Secretary's here.
Yes.
We have everyone in place. First, I'd like to say good morning to each of you, and like to, if you can silence your devices. I'm gonna do mine.
Recording in progress.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. You got me. I'll make sure my tie is straight.
Make sure you get this tie straight.
Okay. This is the City Council meeting of the City Council of the City of Port Arthur, and we're going to conduct this as a special meeting scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. and it's now 10:06 according to our clock that's here in the City Hall chambers and City Council chambers. Excuse me. And this meeting may be accessed by telephonic and or video conference mediums. You would only need to dial 877.
Okay, people, whenever we say that the mayor been doing this too, when an election come up, I think it'll be 3 years, that the mayor still has a problem with conducting a meeting, we're not lying on this, right? Now, just understand, if the mayor can't conduct a simple meeting, something that's routine that he should be doing throughout the years of council, just understand that when he's talking about a complex situation like streets, EDC, when he's giving this opinion on why the EDC should function a certain way, understand all of those things are given to him, put in his head, he's told what to do, right? So understand now something that he should be doing, which is his job title, right? Conducting a meeting. He can't do that. But we're not going to hop on this. We're going to go ahead on to the start of what we're trying to, get to.
Together.
To, talk about these streets. Here we go.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me thank the Mayor and the Council for being here today for this workshop. The Council has informed me that streets is the number one priority for the City of Port Arthur at this time. The largest share of the capital improvements project for this year as well has been assigned to streets, and it has been assigned to streets for the last 3 years or so. This year we had $13.5 million approved by council for that, and I am attempting to make sure that we have all the necessary infrastructure, in-house infrastructure in place in terms of personnel, in terms of plans that are very much strategic, so that we continue to lay out the plans for streets improvement for the next not only fiscal year, for the calendar year as well. And so what we will attempt to do this morning.
Let me go ahead and do something right quick. Let me pause it for a quick second. Okay, here we go. Just had to do a little something.
Through our new city engineer and his staff out here, is to lay out the plan for the next year or so, give you a review as to where we are, what we have expended thus far, what the challenges that we have had, and the milestones that we have set for the upcoming year. What we will attempt to do as well is to inform you that we will come back every month in the new year to inform you as to where we are, because what we need is a very clear and concise plan, so that not only the council could follow, but so that citizens could be informed as to what.
Okay, now we should have had a concise plan years ago, right? You should have had a concise plan years ago when we started the capital improvement project. Each year during the budget, we should have a concise program on how things should work. So there's no reason now we need to have a concise program on how things work. But here we go.
Is being done, where it's being done, and the progress that's being made on the street improvement program. Thank you, Mayor.
No, sir. Is there something to turn on?
You want this?
Council members, again, for the people I have not met yet, my name is John Canatella, and I'm your new city engineer. First of all, I do want to say that I'm very excited about this position that y'all have allowed me to take here with the city. I've spent my whole career building projects. I get excited about building and improving the infrastructure of this area. I've been doing it my whole career. And so basically, I just wanted to go over what I've learned in the last week or two. I've been here about a month, but I'm still learning about this program you've got set up. It's a very ambitious program. I realize we're behind on it, but we're going to do our due diligence to get this thing moving in a real forward manner. And with the staff behind me, I hope we can accomplish this in a 2 to 3 year time frame is what I'm thinking. Briefly, I just wanted to go over, I don't know how this is, I guess I'm too close. Could you bring up the first slide, please?
No, you want to pull it back a little bit so that you could see? You wanted to see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that good?
Well, I'm good.
Okay, good.
The first contract or project that I wanted to kind of review or bring to the council's attention, we have a construction contract, a rehabilitation contract with LD Construction, and this is generally in the Port Acres area. There's some work being done downtown, but as you can see, I've got a highlighted picture of some base rehabilitation that was being done in October. This is a $2 million contract, 2.9. And just to let everyone know, the contractor right now is about 49% complete, but he expended 67% of his time. So he is behind right now. And we're going to be working to get that completed by March 1st is what we're targeting right now. On the right, you can see some of the concrete work that he's performing on Dallas and 6th Street, where we're replacing the curb and gutter. Just briefly, the next project that I wanted to bring up to your attention is Gulf Coast Construction is working on 5th and 6th Street. And this project is just getting started. I don't believe we processed a payment for this contractor yet, but we've already run into some utility obstructions that I'm trying to indicate in this picture. You can't really see it. It's a dark area underneath the concrete slab. There's a 4-inch AT&T telephone line that runs under 6th Street. And we've encountered it, and we're working to design our storm drain to avoid this conflict. Now, this is something that we didn't show up in we had 2 811 calls, which is normal process for identifying underground, any kind of underground lines. But our surveyors called 811, and then the contractor called 811, and these locates did not show this line. I'm not saying this to blame anybody. I just want council to be aware that this is a priority for me in the future, that we've got to do a better job of getting these utilities located before we go to construction. I had talked to the AT&T engineer on this, and so, again, I'm not blaming anybody. We did our due diligence. We called 811, but we're going to have to take that a step further in the future, because as we get contractors under construction, and they encounter these things, it leads to delays and redesign, and so we don't want that. We do not want that, and so I hate to start my tenure here at the city with bad news, but I do want to be upfront with all the council members, and I'm going to do my best to bring these problems to your attention when we find them. I don't want any surprises, and I believe in transparency, so I just wanted to bring that up to all y'all, and it may not be the right setting, but I do want to let you know that I will be transparent with all of y'all when it comes to problems. That's my job, is to solve problems, and we'll solve this one. But I do want to let everyone be aware that this is something we've encountered. And Councilman Jones actually went out and looked at this problem. And it's something that, we live in an old city, and there's a lot of underground old facilities that to date maybe people don't know about. So like I said, we're going to do a better job trying to find these things and avoid them in the future.
John, let me just say something here to the council as well. I'm glad that John made that point. What we're trying to do from here on is to make sure that all these parts of the infrastructure is being captured in GIS format. So for the future, those who come after us will not be doing the guesswork. At least 90% of it will be out of it, and we will have plans that are accurate enough to portray.
Now, if you understand, there's something with the city manager, right? It's always a problem. It's always an excuse. Now, city manager, it shouldn't take you right now to understand that we need to have some type of plan where everybody can follow it, right? Regardless if it's in GS format, it should be some type of format, English, something where mostly everybody can read, right? Something that everybody can follow. It shouldn't be no guesswork. Look, we are not the only people that does streets, right? You have the state doing streets. You have every other city doing streets, where there should be something. Man, look, this not rocket science. There should be some type of format where you could follow, throughout through whoever's in charge, right? Whoever's, if the city manager's in charge, a new engineer's in charge, a new director of streets in charge, whoever, right? Any regular employees, there should be a standard operating procedure, right? A SOP, that's the word I'm looking for. So, and understand, this little one delay, this is one delay. This is not to stop the whole goddamn street construction. If you was doing it right, you would have different contractors coming in and knocking out all these streets. So, hey, here we go.
What existed, because as John said, it's not only for the private sector part as well, but for the city. There are certain areas that we continue to work that the city has no plans showing that there are water lines, that there are sewer lines, that there are drainage in existence right there. You would go down, Rhonda is the oldest person who's in the engineering department, and if you don't talk to Rhonda or you don't talk to somebody else, there is no documentation. And that increases the cost of what we're trying to do. It increases the delay of what we're trying to achieve.
Okay, so Mr. Burton, how long have you been knowing that they don't have any type of plans or whatever you're talking about? But the thing is, you haven't even done this to find out that the problem is you haven't started a lot of the roads to find out that you have some type of problems with it, right? And you also need to go ahead and state this, right? You should have been saying all of this throughout the years while we couldn't get anything done, right? So now you want to give us all type of excuses on what's the problem. Okay, Ron, but you need to give us an example of the road. What road are you talking about?
Achieve as well. So I'm glad that John is taking that approach. It's being done very meticulously, but that is how we need to do a proper job.
Yeah.
From here on.
Yeah. And with that, we have a couple of other projects going on. They're not part of the street program, but the EDC parking lot is moving forward. We have the spray park at the old Lakeview swimming pool was moving. And 60th Street was just completed actually yesterday. It was an overlay job that we completed, and we'll be closing that out hopefully today or tomorrow. I didn't have pictures of those, but primarily I know what we want to talk about today is the streets program. So basically, the next couple of slides are probably not any news to yourselves. These are the projects that I've been charged with getting accomplished, and the breakdown by each district is given. I believe this may be some of the discussion that we want to have today about this allocations, but I just laid it out here briefly, each district and the projects we're working on right now. These are the jobs, the streets that we're going to be out to construction in April next year. So we're working on those plans, and I've got 3 to 4 months to get them finished and get them out to construction. And I'll take any questions if anyone has about these different district allocations that I know of. I know this was all decided prior to me being here.
Okay, why are we stopping? Why did the engineer stop at the district allocations? The major question, see, this is how you can tell something is up, right? The guy that's actually giving the presentation, he's stopping on allocations. When the issue should be what question do you have? The main issue is why the streets not getting done. That's the main question. Why the streets are not getting done? What's the problems and things that's going on, right? Nothing with the allocations is the real reason. So you shouldn't start at the allocation. I'm just trying to give everybody some information on my insight, how I look at things and how you may want to try to look at things, right? If the presenter is kind of direct you to a certain area with the allocation, you just want to kind of notice that.
But we can discuss it if you like.
Prepared for it because really what's the issue with the allocations?
It's not like nothing.
Go ahead, Councilman Joe.
Yeah, I don't have a question, but I have a compliment. I want to share.
Now here we go with Cal Jones, ready to give a compliment, right? Just ready to give compliments for what reason? Let's check this out.
There's light on something. I'm running a little late. Apologize for that, but I'm glad to hear one thing that you said. Lakeview Park is up and moving. Lakeview Park is up and moving.
Yeah,
that's sweet music in my ear.
But we're really not talking about Lakeview Park. We're supposed to be a workshop about streets. Somebody should call a point of order to this and get back on streets.
Yes, I've been waiting for the project about 4.5 years. I really have. And it got to stressing me out, and people kept calling me, and I ran out of answers. But now I'm glad to know that it's up and going. I pass by there every day and see it, and I like what I'm looking at. I'm excited about it. And also, I was riding around the other day, and I saw you and Mr. Flood on that project on 5th and 6th Street, and I happened to stop and listen in. And I'm so happy to see where you and Flood had the contract on his heels. Y'all was double teaming this guy. Y'all was hitting him from both sides. He come up with some problem about what he got to do and charge more money. It could cost him. Flood, you and Flood said, oh no. Yeah. We got a better way of getting this. We're not trying to charge the city any more money.
Now hold on, you just came on Flood. Who are you talking about? What Flood are you talking about? But he just coming up and saying that he just happened to come in on the conversation. I don't know. Let's go.
And that's where you and Mr. Flood handled that situation with this contract, because he was trying to get next to us money-wise,
Yeah.
and I recognize that. But you employed 40 them off real good.
See, this the thing, right? The money comes up in the contract. You have a contract in doing with the streets, right? And all of the specifications should be outlined in the contract. So there's no need for this kind of crazy talk what he talking about, man. See, we run this city so like a goddamn non-professional, like, right? We kind of run this shit wreck shop, just do whatever the hell we want to do. You got people talking about it will come up with certain jobs. They know how much it's going to cost. That's why you're doing the contract, so you won't be trying to negotiate some crazy ass shit like this. I mean, I don't know where Cal get this from or what the hell the conversation was about. So somebody should say, hey, what's up with the contract? But you'll kind of get to, well, it's going to lead to something a little bit later. Remember, Cal thanking him and talking about the contract. I mean, not contract. You're talking about some more money for the contract and all this crazy stuff that he supposedly came in and just ended up listening on.
You know, held y'all ground and y'all told me so many words. I told him y'all the boss. You're in charge of the project, not him. You know, and so I appreciate that. Y'all handle it.
Yes, sir. I've heard the message from several council members here at different times about.
Notice anybody didn't really reply to it. I don't know. It didn't hold your ground. What you going to hold your ground on? It's a contract. It's a contract, right? Okay. Hold on. Let's go.
About the changes to our projects and the overruns and the problems we've run into, and we're going to do our best to eliminate all those extras that we see. Gulf Coast is an outstanding company. They've been around for a long time, but they're used to working for TxDOT, and TxDOT has a lot more money than we do. So we'll be working to limit any damages, any kind of delay claims, and keep them on track so we can get the jobs finished. Yeah.
Thank you, John. Appreciate you, man.
And now one reason why they feel they can come talk to us in that kind of way, because unfortunately the city of Port Arthur has been running business half-heartedly, just like unprofessionally, running like some thugs, basically. I mean, they just running, doing whatever they want to do, not really doing anything in particular. You're letting your friends take money over here, doing back deals over there, allegedly, right? So you have these contractors come in and just kind of demand stuff from the city, where we acting like we are. It's making me like the city is helpless to all of these contractors. Here we go.
Keep doing what you're doing.
The Councilman, Dr. Kellogg.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm glad that you said earlier in your presentation that you wanted to identify these problems in the beginning of the stages. After we sign contracts with the company and then we find situations, that's disturbing to me. That should be disturbing to you and as well as the city. When you call 811 locator, their job is to go out and find these lines. I don't know if they drill, if they photo, if they x-ray. It's their jobs to ensure that their lines in a certain area. And then to hear you say today that we may have a situation with a utility line, that's concerning to me. And my question to you, it's what other way you want to address this issue if we can't entrust 811 locators to rectify this problem?
Yeah. Well, I think in my past, it's a communications issue. 811 is a great system, and it's supposed to shed some form of liability to the utilities, but there's nothing better than contacting these gentlemen, these companies, getting Spectrum, getting AT&T engineers involved early, and in this case, I made about 3 calls, and I was able to determine that there's a telephone line that runs all the way from 69, Memorial Boulevard to Houston Avenue under 6th Street. So those kind of conversations have to happen ahead of time, and we don't need to rely on 811. I've never experienced 811 to be deficient, but in this case, their system did not find this line, and I believe it was because it was under 2 concrete slabs that Locate didn't locate this line, didn't find it.
Okay. Well, in the future, I'd agree with you. Let's make sure that we identify these lines because it's considered a safety issue. If we have a gas line and we continue doing what we need to do and find out later that, we may have a situation, I would hope that, we find better ways and like you said, to find the locator of these lines.
Yes. Yeah, we were very fortunate. This line, this duct bank would have killed telephone service to all of downtown and City Hall if we would have broke it. So luckily, the good news is we didn't break the line.
So who takes responsibility for that? If we've signed a contract and then we find out later, like you said, that it's a telephone line that 811 did not identify, who takes responsibility? The city?
That would be a legal question. I know the city did their due diligence.
Okay, so this is a legal question, right? Where's the city attorney? A legal question, where's the city attorney? Let's take a look.
In this regard, we contacted 811, but the contractor would have broke the line if that would have been the case. But I don't know what's the city's responsibility on that.
Can we get clarification on that, Mayor, while he's standing here with the presentation? Because that's something that I would love to make sure that we have a clear understanding who takes the responsibility if a line is broken by a contractor. Does the city take responsibility, or would it be the contractor?
Yeah.
Can you ask a clarification?
Yes, Mayor.
City attorney,
I would presume that this particular contract has an additional assurance provision such that if there is any liability that the city would become with this particular contract. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
No.
Press it down. Press this here, the button. Yes.
Just one time and it'll turn green.
Joe. Come, Joe.
Mayor, Council, I would presume that the contract in question would have an additional insured provision where if there is any issue with respect to liability to anyone or any place that we would have coverage for that particular instance. That is customarily the way that it's done. The city would be added as an additional insured.
Okay. So
I don't know. I have not seen this contract, but I would presume that would be the case. Can anyone from Public Works speak to that?
Look, I don't know if this is a new city attorney or who is. I don't even know who this guy is, right? He may be an assistant attorney sitting in, or he may be one hired or whatever. I don't know. But how the liability should go, right? If the 811 locator didn't locate it, then it would be on the actual, it'll be on AT&T to fix their lines. I mean, it's point blank. You have 811 is supposed to be the line locator. You use it, and hey, they didn't locate it, so that would be on what AT&T's in for the phone line and the contractor's line, because the contractor's doing the work. They're supposed to be doing it. All of the work is contracted out to them, so they should be the ones that's liable.
Why wouldn't the contractor be responsible? That's my question.
Hold up, Mr. Council. Hold up. He got it.
To the extent that a contractor would cut a line and it would interrupt service.
Now, Boy T, sometimes you just need to just let these people talk. See, it just disgusts me how rude he is to everybody. You know what I mean? The guy said, can somebody to speak to the Public Works, right? Cal Jones asked a viable question. Hey, why wouldn't it be the contractor? Boy T, you might hold on, he got it. Well, he didn't have it because he asked someone from Public Works to speak to it. That's how crazy this clown shit is.
It's to someone who needed it, be they being having kidney treatment, dialysis or whatever. The liability would accrue to the contractor for being negligent and not having identified the line prior to commencing any work. And to the extent that it was a city operation and we had any exposure, if we are an additional insured, then we would have coverage.
Okay. Well, and I'm glad that you stated that openly in this open session, because
I want to be clear, though. I have not
and that's
yet
what
seen
I want to be
contract.
clear.
So
is it clear?
To be clear.
Okay.
I have not seen the contract. I don't know, but that is customarily how it's done when the city contracts for structural type of improvements, particularly on public streets.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of hearing. I'm hearing from you, Mr. Engineer, that if we may have these situations that happens after a contract has been signed and we have to find these deficiencies later, my job, our job as a collective council is to ensure that it's not on the taxpayers.
Sure.
So if we could get a legal aspect of that, we need to make sure that if it's not the city, well, then who, after we do, like you said, due diligence, and went out and contact 811 locators, and then you find something, and then something may happen. We just want to make sure that this is the right thing that we must do.
And just so you're aware, we had a local surveying company do the survey, and so I'm sure they're insured, and we're probably named. There would be liability spread out amongst other people if there was a lawsuit. And I know.
It sounds a little shaky. Just when you guys can get together, if you wouldn't mind, and come back with something
and one of the bullets. I don't want to skip to my last slide, but this is one of the things that I did mention is that we want to be sure that we look at improving our contract documents. We do need some firm clauses in there that states, who's responsible for these things.
Okay, bingo. This is what I'm glad he got to, right? Because we need firm contracts with these people that's building the doggone streets, right? We need to make sure they're doing everything right. We need to make sure they're doing these things, not taking longer. Then if they're taking longer, they have like a penalty, right? So to motivate these contractors to go ahead and treat this city right and do the right thing, right? So that's one of the major problems too, not having good contracts on these things, right? We need more production from the city attorney, in my opinion, right? Just like the man said, he said he don't know, but really you do know. He do know because he's bringing it up. We need firm contracts on times and liabilities. So we definitely need to make this thing happen so, we can go ahead and function like a goddamn good city. You know what I mean? Instead of having to wait for these change orders, people coming back, ask for more money. That wouldn't happen if we had all of these things in a row. Don't know why this isn't in a row right now, right? We have an experienced city attorney who's been here for so long. She should be on top of these things.
And I'm not saying they're not in there now. I've looked at the contracts. I've looked at the plans. I haven't reviewed the contracts that well. Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
You said exactly. I had my light on as Councilman Dr. Kinlaw was talking, but I turned it off because he hit the vein that I wanted to. But I'm excited to hear what you said because that's what I wanted to address. That there is a synchronization between the engineering department and the legal department as we peruse those contracts.
Oh goddamn! Here we go. Want to use these big words? I mean, when it's like you're speaking to a jailhouse writ lawyer. What you call it, a writ lawyer? Them jailhouse lawyers want to use these big words all out of context, just saying they want to have a synchronization within the legal department and the engineer. I mean, this basic legal contract, you should have pretty much a form that's just a plugged in type of what you want to do. You should have a template. That's a better word. You should have a template of this already. I mean, this is nothing that you need to really synchronize with different people and get together. This is things that already should be done, already should be in place.
And look at those contracts to make sure that we don't fall prey to overruns and fall prey to the kinds of liabilities that might come because of these kinds of situations and circumstances. So I think there has to be that synchronization, that kind of working. I know the legal department does a great job, but it doesn't hurt to have another vantage point looking at those contracts because there's some things that you might see there. And as you work together to do those things, I think it will bless and benefit our city.
Yes. One of the phrases we use in heavy industry is in continuous.
Now, people, this is why I'm here to decipher from the BS, right? All of the things that people like Frank, they're saying that sounds good, right? But I'm here to let you understand that we shouldn't have been doing this from day one. This isn't anything new. Contracts and streets isn't anything new. So we shouldn't be talking about contracts in 2021 going to 2022 on the proper contract of dealing with streets. That's why we don't have the streets built properly or built anything, built correctly to specs. That's why Blue Bond has been overrun for 1 million doggone years. I mean, man, we need to understand and get a grasp of what we're supposed to do as a city, right? We're supposed to get a grasp of what we're supposed to do as a public works department. And Ron, he needs to grasp what he needs to do as a city manager, right? He really needs to manage the city and delegate these things and be the overseer of it, right? Need to be the overseer of why these streets is going bad, and then also give a detailed explanation to council. Why are these things going on? Why do we not have these contracts in place, right? All of this is together, right? All of this is a part of the pie, right? All of this is ingredients to the pie, right? If all of the ingredients, cooking time, everything goes into making the pie, a cake, a candy, whatever, it has to be right. Everything has to be right. If one of the ingredients is off, it's going to taste bad. You don't have enough flour, eggs, whatever, you either cook it too much or too low, going to come out bad. So you need to have everything right? So we can have the city operate how it's supposed to in regards of dealing with building the streets and doing a proper construction and making sure we do everything right so we can keep the citizens happy and give the citizens some decent roads to drive on.
Improvement, and we want to get better every day at these sort of documents, and we'll be working with the legal department to make sure that the city's culpability is eliminated, and we'll be shedding that work to the contractor. Shedding that liability to the contractor is what I would like to see.
Councilman Marks.
Yes, Mr. Canatelli, appreciate the information that you've brought to us today. I'm looking at the spreadsheet that we've been handed out. At some point, I think we've talked about, before you came on board, that council people would be able to sit down with the engineering department after having visited with their residents about particular streets. And going through this particular spreadsheet, in the Montrose area, there's a concern. There's actually some streets that have been finished in the last couple of months. I think four out of the 5 that were earmarked to be done. But the residents are particularly concerned about a main artery out there. It's Texas. Texas runs from Dorsey all the way to 365, and that's one of the main arteries out there. And they say they would prefer to have that one done because it's more travel than all of some of the others that are on the list. So I guess my question is will we be able to sit down? This is not the proper forum for us to go line by line on this listing of streets out in District 4, but will we be able to sit down, you and I and any of my residents, we can and go through and kind of modify this list that's already been put together?
I have no problem with that. I think that was kind of the subject of this meeting. The allocations were done prior to me being here. I know Councilman Kinlaw and I had a discussion a month ago, and he was concerned some of the streets in Griffin Park and Pear Ridge area. I drove some of those streets, and there was one in particular around Terrell Elementary that I thought was in pretty bad shape that we would probably want to elevate. I think it's South Park, North Park, but I'm open to moving some of these jobs into this next year. I think we could accomplish that, and I'd like to lean on the council members for what they think are some additional needs.
If I might, and I'm leaning on the residents out there to kind of guide me as to what they would prefer to see done to make to make their quality of life traveling through their neighborhoods a lot easier and better for them. If you've got a main artery and you've got a less well-traveled street that we're going to work on that's on this list, if we could just postpone that to the next phase and get the main artery done, that's what I'm looking to do.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that came to my attention about Terrell is, you've got school.
Now that's a good comment. I actually like that comment, right? But the problem is we're not getting enough streets done, right? According to the capital improvement plan, we're not doing that plan. We're like about 2 years behind on streets. That's the main doggone problem. We need to go ahead and, kick this up a notch. We need to go ahead and get these streets done.
Kids being dropped off, a lot of traffic. That should have been more, in my mind, more of a priority. But again, we'll work with each council member to see if there's some top priorities we want to hit next year. I have no problem with increasing the allocation for next year, but then it's your decision. Yeah.
Well, no, we're not going to modify the allocations. That's already done. Okay. Just want to kind of swap around some target streets rather than the allocations. I don't want to.
Yeah. Okay. Understood.
Okay. Lastly,
let me just share, because I'm glad that Councillor Marks made that point.
He's jumping in again right now. Now I guess we're going to kind of understand why there's a focus on the actual allocation. You see, like Marks, he really wasn't worried about the allocation, right? Like probably most of the other ones come in. Now, as this new engineer kind of focused on that, and now we're about to see Ron Burton about to kind of really give out the real reason on why they focus on this allocation.
Some of the streets that have already been identified were identified prior to you coming on board. So I think it's a good opportunity as well for you to sit down with the engineering staff and review that list. Now, that you may see some changes in terms of the amounts that may be required to do that. But I think there is enough resources you may still have available in order to make those changes and get to where you want to go. And that's not only for your district, but for each of the 4 districts.
Okay, what resources hold on, city manager, what resource? Let's kind of get to this. Go ahead city manager, go ahead.
One of the things I want to share, and I think John might be getting to it, and I think I shared that with each member of the 4 districts. One of the things I would like to propose is, of the $13 million that we have available, if we can choose one major thoroughfare that could be developed, that would benefit all the 4 districts. Let me just throw this out there. From Gulfway to the Seawall, this is a main entrance into your downtown area.
Now we really get into it, everybody. Now we really get into what's the real reason of this allocation, right? Because everything's supposed to be allocated during the budget, right? And at the last council meeting, they well, the one before this one, right? Council member Dr. Kinlaw, right? He asks about, what's going on with the 3.5 million, and they act like they don't really know what the hell going on with it, or nobody answered it. And now here's where it's coming out at.
That we have done all the drainage that is necessary when Amando was city engineer. So what we have to look at is the streetscape part of it, the sidewalks, and the median, how we can improve the median. And it's something I've been talking about for the longest while. We have major assets in the downtown area like Lamar,
Now, right, when he's saying that, right, this is really not for the citizens in Port Arthur, right? This is for the people, some of the business owners, right, that's kind of got him to do this crazy type of trash. What they want is a clear path from 365 all the way down to, the Proctor, to Lamar so they don't have to drive on any type of roads, right? This is mainly people that don't live here. They've been allegedly, right? You know, people been saying, people in the political community been saying, people like the Bill McCoy, right, was trying to either have, you know, one of them spots, either 9th Avenue, this is straight, you know, enlarge and go straight all the way down to Proctor or Memorial, has to have something, or they can kind of just, it looks nice just driving right down to go down over there to the Lamar and the Proctor, to go over to the ED, to the Greater Chamber of Commerce building, which is inside the EDC. So understand, this is where a lot of these problems been coming from in the streets, right? You have people like Ron Burton trying to go ahead and to accommodate these other business folk that don't live in Port Arthur, right? This, you know, with other jobs, other things that doesn't have anything to do with helping out the citizens, right? So this is where they want to reallocate it. They were trying to sneak it away first, but we start making a big deal about the budget. Now he wants to go into a whole reallocation process, a big reset, so to speak, of the money, so they can kind of have this accounted for. Now, Ron's so scared, right? This project seemed like it's a cool idea. It's not too bad, right? But this is what Ron and them and Burton and them want to go all along, right? Remember what I'm saying. The reason why they started out with the allocation is to get a conversation going and to reallocate some money to, so that they can have one big straight, you know, road coming from 365 all the way down to Proctor. Now watch. That's the whole purpose of this meeting, to put that out on the table to see how people are receptive to it.
And that's a street that's always traveled, that's well traveled. It's, you know, so if you could come to some consensus, whether it's today or sometime later, as to how you want to allocate resources to that, I think that would help John. We could begin whatever design process we need to do and bring it back to you for approval.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
I liked what Councilman Marks said, and I think it coincides with what you just said, Mr. City Manager, that we could work on the main arteries, work on the main arteries. Those are the roads that are.
Okay, here we go. Frank started it off, right? Wow, the main arteries. So now what Marks was talking about is in the neighborhood, right? In the neighborhood, a main artery in the neighborhood, right? But these clowns are talking about text-dot highways and things that really people out of town use, right? People that does not live in the city use. They use these roads more than the people in the city. Now, the city use them, but their main purpose is to pacify people out of town or don't live in Port Arthur.
Traveled mostly by people in our city, and perhaps even as we try to evacuate those kinds of things, that makes evacuation better for us.
Dude, it's not going to make evacuation better. It's just some straight bull crap. Okay, when you evacuate mainly on text-dot highways, it's nothing really to say. You doing, okay, they proposing from Gulfway to goddamn Proctor, right? Well, what is it, Woolworth or whatever? Yeah, Woolworth. Gulfway to goddamn Proctor is not going to do anything as far as like evacuation. It's silly, incompetent, stupid.
During those seasons and times when we need to as well. But the other thing was, as you were talking about Terrell, it popped into my mind, of course, that we would have to do some of those projects in the summertime when
Sure.
those kinds of scheduling, when in the summertime when the schools are empty and vacant, and those kinds of coordinations need to be made. But that main
Oh, that's a goddamn lie. That is a goddamn lie. Okay. we about to unpack this crap here.
Is something I think that we could support, Mr. City Manager. I would like to see that supported.
Okay, Councilwoman Moses.
Thank you, Mayor. City Manager, that main artery, you said we can act on that today, make a decision on that? Because I think that is really We need to make it happen because that coming, you said, from Gulfway all the way down to Proctor, or going to the Seawall?
All the way down to Proctor, yeah.
To the Seawall.
To the Seawall, yeah. If it's council's wish, though, because we still have $13 million that has been budgeted and approved, but not as yet allocated.
Say that one more time.
It's $13 million that has been budgeted and approved, but has not been allocated.
But can we allocate that in this meeting?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Wow. Okay, a couple of things wrong here, right? Now, understand the fix is in before this council meeting is ever went in, because look what the hell happened, right? For the people that's not knowing, you just have Charlotte Moses jumped up and ready to goddamn approve this. Oh, hey, let's go ahead and approve. We need to get it done. You don't know how much this crap is going to cost. You don't know what all needs to be done. You don't have a price on this. But she just jumps up to have this shit done. Man, these people are some damn clowns up here. I'm telling you. These people are clowns. And just like I told you before, it was a reason why this engineer gave off this workshop and stopped on the allocation, talking about you having the questions. Nobody's really had the main purpose of that meeting is why you should get what's going on with the streets, why nothing is getting done, not the allocation. The allocation is not an issue. The matter of fact is getting the streets done is the issue, right? But after Mark said, hey, we're not changing no allocation, that's when the city manager came in and brought up this brain bird idea about the instead of doing the streets that you all want to do, that the citizens want to do, they're going to waste this money on getting the from Gulfway to Proctor, right? A main artery, so to speak, for people that's out of town coming straight down the goddamn to Lamar and Proctor, right? So the main purpose is to get these people going. They want the out of town folk, right, to drive on good streets, but you city folk, y'all don't need them good street shit, right? Even though we getting the money from the people that lives here, y'all don't deserve the streets just yet over these folks out of town. That's basically what they saying. And then you have Moses up in here talking about she want to goddamn approve it. You don't even know what the money is. How you know how much you have to do? Look, see, this is all a goddamn scam, right? This is all a scam. They done talked about this before the meeting. And how in the hell, city manager, that you have a budget, but you don't have any of the money allocated? You supposed to have everything of the budget allocated by a line item. I posted that in the budget, what do you call it? The budget rule book. I forgot what you call a budget. It's the rules, the manual for the budget, the Texas State Manual, budget laws. Yes, what it is. The budget laws. You have to have them a budget passed and a line by line item. See, the thing is, right, the city, you don't have a cash full of goddamn money you can just do illy-nilly with, right? That's the problem what's going on in Port Arthur. We just do shit all against the law, right? We got clowns. We got the inmates running the asylum, right? The insane running the asylum. So we got all this crazy stuff going on. Well, that's why they're not getting your streets done. They're not getting your streets done. They want to have all this other bird brain idea that these other folks give them. These other folks that don't live in the city give them.
Well, again, you can allocate, if you want, $3 million to that major project, but the rest of it, I think you would have to meet on the engineer would have to meet on an individual basis with each of you all.
Okay, hold on. Now, he talking about that $3 million, right? He said you can allocate $3 million, but when out of that $13 million, they had what, about 10 or 11 or something allocated, right? Well, out of 3.5. Out of 13.5 or 14, right? They had like 10 or 11.5 allocated, so it left around 3 million or 3.5 million unaccounted for. So hold on, I'm gonna go get it. But I'm gonna put a checkpoint right here. Hopefully, I should insert the video right now.
Well, let's go back. And when we started this in 2019, right, it was about $14 million, right, to actually address the street issues that we had. But we were actually using 10.5, 10.2 or something like that?
Quite possibly.
Okay,
I don't
so
have those
the
figures
monies
in front
that
of me.
was left over, the $3 million, what did that money was reallocated to?
I'm not quite sure. Do you have, Mandy, do you have in front of you that?
Well, just hold on to that, Director. And then, if
Okay, I should have played that. Okay, right now I should have been played that video where they had the 3.5 million, what Kenlaw was talking about, and I'm going to go ahead and finish on with this.
I'm only talking about the main, that main thoroughfare
Yes, you can
coming
if you want to.
allocate that money for
Yes,
that
you
main
can if you
thoroughfare.
want to.
You said all the drainage work has been done. All we need to do is get a part of the budget and allocate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, why this wasn't how did you cut the budget not really allocating the money to the proper streets? This is the bull crap that they've been doing, people. That's what they've been playing with the money. When I've been bringing to you all this stuff about the budget going wrong, this is what they're doing. They're admitting it. They're pretty much playing with the money, doing willy-nilly, and that's why the budget is all screwed up as it is today, allegedly.
Councilman Jones.
Yes, thank you, Bill. Lastly, I guess I'm the Lone Ranger up here about this problem, and I hate to keep beating the dead horse, but we've had workshops, we've had meetings, we've had discussion, we have money allocated, we've had streets. Everybody council said what street we wanted to fix. We got a heck of an engineering team. We have Jennifer, we have Mr. Babino, we have Flood, we have Ms. Roberts. Welcome John on board. We have a good team of engineers. We have everything in place. We keep discussing the same thing. City manager, my thing is, I'm gonna keep on pounding this. I won't stop. All this sounds good up here. When we gonna get started? When we get some contracts to start these streets project?
Bingo. Comment of the year. This is the best comment of the whole goddamn thing, right? Cal Jones gets it, right? Finally, he gets it. This is the whole problem. Instead of doing streets, they gonna stop, do a goddamn reset, right? They're gonna do a whole reset of what in the hell is supposed to be going on. They stop resetting everything. Now they want to have this crazy ass cat shit going on.
I need some council. The people want to see production, and we keep discussing. I want to see some action, some streets being reconstructed, rehabilitated. I was going on that avenue yesterday, last night. That avenue in 32nd Street hit a pothole so big, my lights went off. And what I said in my mind, I couldn't say it in church. What I said to myself, I couldn't repeat it in church because it was that bad. And we need to, talking is good, but we need to get some of this action. We need some contractors getting these streets fixed. Not just, I'm tired of talking to people in this meeting, what we got allocated, what we doing, what we got good, and all that sounds good. Let's start building some streets.
Bam, perfect. Now understand, right? We've been allocating, right? The more you allocate, you can't get anything done. That's the doggone problem. Instead of getting streets done, you might get some done here and there, but they want to do the whole reset now, the big reset. We want to reallocate, and then the city manager do something slick. He don't allocate all the goddamn money. But he want to do is hide some of that money and allocate it to other things that the council don't really know about, right? Or he wants to go ahead and say, hey, we have some money that's unallocated. Dude, you doing some illegal things. You have to allocate money from the budget on a line item. So this council is really bold, right? This council, city staff is really bold. Somebody needs to be held accountable, right? This is the crash dummy type stuff that, man, look, once you doggone understand what's going on, these people are looking incompetent every day. So understand, right? When you reallocate the money for the streets, that means you're not doing it. You're getting started. You're still deciding on what to do. Now, they have done this, like Cal Jones said, several years ago, right? Capital improvement plan. That's what the capital improvement plan is for. That's what they budgeted for, right? They budgeted for the streets. They have the amount of money to do for the streets. So they said, screw all of that. Now they're going to reallocate it again. That's why, see, when Cal Jones said, right, we ain't going to get started, that's the main purpose for the workshop. That's what it should have been. But they changed the workshop for the allocation, right, to reallocate the money because they wanted to sneak it away from you, right? They knew the outside watchdogs like myself and other people like, former council member Duce said, and other people that's watching this, right? They're going to go ahead and call all of this out. They're going to call all of this out, point it out to the citizens and say, hey, look, this is what's going on over here. These people are just running amok. So instead of this workshop being about a reallocation of funds, this workshop should have been, why in the hell we not getting streets done, is what Cal is saying right now.
Let's hear some noise out there. It's some pounding concrete, All right. John?
Agree.
Okay.
Okay, Councilman Jones, Councilman Kinlaw.
Thank you, Mayor. Two questions. I guess when you come back to the council, would you identify the main arteries that you're considering, or maybe you can do that, city manager, that you're going to present to the council? Because I would sure like to know which one are we considered the lifelines of Port Arthur entering and exiting. Number two, as of date, what percentage of each district streets are completed? Those two things. Okay. If you can bring that back or notify the council, or you could just email me. Yeah. As of date, the percentage of completion of each district streets as of date.
Yes.
Okay. And then, of course, the main arteries you consider the main artery that's entering and exiting the city.
Yes. And I'll be working with each council member to come up with that list. And I've got an idea what I would propose, but I want to pass it by each member.
Great. Yes. Thank you, Director.
Yeah.
Okay, City Manager, you spoke on, and we're talking about what Councilman Marks actually initiated, and we think about the main artery.
Now look at this crazy ass shit right here, man. I mean, look, man, it doesn't take a rock star. Once you understand what they're saying and how they're actually bull crapping you on this, Councilmember Marks didn't initiate this. The goddamn guy initiated with the city manager initiated when he told the engineer to go ahead and have questions on the reallocation of funds. That's what he talking about, right? That's what he wanted to reallocate. And then the city manager brought the idea up about the actual lifelines, where they didn't have any money to allocate it. Marks didn't goddamn allocate no big street. He talking about the actual street in a subdivision, right? In a neighborhood. He means the lifeline in the neighborhood in Montrose, not across the whole goddamn city. Now this lying ass mayor just go tell you some bull crap, so I just want to make here to fact check all this dumb lies that he's going to be saying. What he just said.
And I think you could identify already one that you have in mind. Councilwoman Moses brought up the fact of our maybe acting on it. And then I just wanted to see if we can increase that. Can we go from 39th Street to the Seawall? That is not striped properly, and for sure it's not striped properly once you get past that underpass. I pass every day on it. And I don't know if the striping has anything to do with you all, but there are so many areas in Port Arthur on streets, not potholes, just folk don't know where to drive. And you have new residents coming into town. I've been in Port Arthur my entire 68 years almost, so I know what.
Now, he kind of let the cat out of the bag. We have new residents coming to Port Arthur. All of these things are for people that's coming into Port Arthur, right? Not for the citizens. Boy, these jokers here are something else. They'll work. Now, Boy T talking about 39th Street down to Gulfway, right? What's wrong with 39th Street to Gulfway? Ain't a goddamn thing wrong with that. And it's actually text, if I'm not mistaken. I think it is text dot, because it looked like that road been recently been paved, so that's text dot roads, right? Now, he is correct on there's one portion that's not actually stripe right? That's the actual where you at the light, the Gulfway light going north. You're on actually Woolworth, about to cross over Gulfway, and that little portion, that lane going northbound, that's actually, you don't have any stripes on there. I get confused all the time on that. But Barty is talking some crazy shit about doing 39th all the way down here, the Gulfway.
The lane is supposed to be. Okay. But
now you can easily see that they've been told about this, right? And now he just coming up with some crazy ideas to add on to it. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. He really doesn't know what he's talking about. He just want to aggrandize everything, kind of hype up everything, right? I forgot the word that I want to use, but he's wanting to hype everything up to make it like, okay, let's do this. You know, you want to do one street, let's do 10 of them. You know, so he wants to have that shock effect and try to, you know, hype everything up like he's actually having a good idea, but he really doesn't know what he's talking about.
A person who just started driving, or if my granddaughter decides she's going to drive, she doesn't really know which lane because it's not striped. And for sure, if that's something that we can begin looking at, if we were talking about the main artery, using from Gulfway to the Seawall, but I would want to increase it to go all the way to 39th to the Seawall. But if that's possible, if that's...
Now, see, they have all this energy for out of town people. Boy, T want to say this and that for everything out of town, but they don't have nothing to say. You know, when it's a city issue, the budget, they quiet, they hushing up. But if you got something to do, something for out of town folks, non-PA citizens, they with it. Hey, they coming to Port Arthur, want to give them a good ride in Port Arthur. Hey, screw the people that live here that actually pay the taxes for you to do the streets. But hey, we want to goddamn give them the new people coming in. We want to make it just looks appealing, but they don't want to do the work to actually get all the streets done.
If the state handles that, I'm not sure. That's considered a state highway now.
Yeah, I think, John, that's a state highway.
Yes, 69, I believe.
So we handle from government.
Yeah, see, so he doesn't have a clue what the hell he's talking about. He's just making up some crazy ass crash dummy clown crap, right? To make himself look good or to sound good. But he really makes a fool of himself because they're a state highway. Nothing wrong with it. You want to do something, there's nothing wrong with it. People, that's the main purpose of this. When I tell you these council members don't have a freaking clue of what they're doing or what they're talking about, this is proof of it right here. They just say whatever they want to do to make themselves sound good on camera and to fool you as a citizen.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
well, can't we stripe that? Because I know when you get to the signal light right there, you just choose where you want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and how you know it's a left turn because of how the street is cut. But other than that, some days you can have 3 lanes there. I've been there when they're almost 5 because folks just getting where they want to get, and once they proceed to the side that the state actually handles, that isn't striped, so we can check with the state engineers with TxDOT, and they can coordinate it. It would look so much better because I know that this is a main artery with folk coming into Port Arthur on 69 coming in to our little fair city, and I know by Gulfway they would have that striped for probably another 6 months or 8 months on the western side of it, but it would look. The aesthetic appearance would be good. Safety would be in place because folk would know what lane to drive in.
Well, Mayor, we just yesterday and the day before we were in a meeting with TxDOT. We were discussing the Clover and the improvements that are being made. Well, will be made over the next 5 years to it, and we can take that as part of the discussion as well. We will.
Okay.
And Mayor, it's similar to from 19th Street on Savannah.
Right.
This is the city's responsibility after the railroad.
Okay.
But anything going towards Motiva and towards the overpass out there, it's the state.
The state.
Yeah, that's the state responsibility.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir. I was looking at the rehabilitation program in its entirety, and so I counted these number of streets, and so there are 84 of them.
Yeah.
I think that's close. I think it didn't miscount. And so I looked, and we're doing 22 of them in-house, is what this chart says. But I also, you said that we have some other companies, Gulf Coast and LD Construction.
Yes.
They're doing some projects as well.
Yes.
So when we get this report, can we find out what streets they're doing on this list as well?
Yes.
And then I'd like to find out, because Councilman Jones was talking about getting these things done, what are the considerations that prohibit us, or what are we encountering that keeps us from allocating this out of house and getting some of this done out of house as well? Are there some prohibitions financially?
Well, hell, you can't get the current ones you have that's done right now worked on because you want to reallocate everything now. Man, it's crazy. This is a clown show, people. Understand. Just look at the logic what I'm saying and listen to them and let me give you the reason why I'm saying it, right? Because they want to sound good. Well, hey, we outsource this, but hell, you're not getting the stuff done outsourced right now. You only got 2 goddamn companies. Come on.
From that, or is that what keeps us from doing that?
Yes, the only problem is getting the plans ready and then bidding it out. So we're working on that. That's the part that we're trying to get diligently done by February, March, so we can get them out to contractors to bid. Okay. Yes, yeah, that's right now what we're working on.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead, City Manager.
Yeah, and Mayor and John, you could expound on that a little bit. Some of the limitations includes generally for asphalt. You lay asphalt during the period April, May, when the weather is much warmer, and not during the winter months. You could lay concrete at any time of the year, but in terms of getting the job done, if we are able to prepare all the procurement documents from now until April, which is a process because 30 days has been allocated to dates, you've got to open the bids and you've got time for allocation and selection and all those things. So that's why we've got a plan with milestones. Come next year, April, May, you will see a number of construction projects taking place. And that's how we have, that's how we are planning it, moving ahead.
Yes. And you're right, Ron. The summertime would be the best time to lay this asphalt. And then, of course, we've got to find enough contractors to tackle 60-something streets. So we'll probably divide it up into 2 contracts, 2 or 3.
Yeah. No, one of the things that I've discussed with John and we've discussed with the engineering staff, Mayor, with the passing of the Infrastructure Act, every contractor in the state of Texas and in the United States of America is going to be in demand. Because every municipality in the USA is going out there. So we're trying to get ahead of the game. We are planning diligently in-house to make sure that we have all these documents in place. Because when you look at it, you're just dealing with a $10 million budget. Some other municipalities will have hundreds of millions of dollars available, much more enticing contracts than what we have. So we are planning ahead to make sure that we stay on track and on target in achieving our goal. So it goes back again to what Councillor Jones is saying, but we are diligently planning ahead so that we stay, on top of the game.
Okay, that's bull crap, right? Because what happened to all this in the capital improvement project? You should have had all of this done then, right? You didn't get all of this done when you supposedly, when this infrastructure plan you're talking about didn't happen. Look, dude, ain't nothing changed. You're not going to have a shortage of concrete companies as you did back then, right? So this is a false narrative. Now, I think this is some bull crap he's given, because you have another because they wanted to forward some money to another concrete company. But I'm just kind of speculating right now. I'm gonna leave that a little later. I'm speculating on that right now. But yeah, man, you don't have anything different than what's going on right now. It's a non-issue. Well, then if that was the case, you'd have had a whole bunch of contracts done. You need to properly put out the bids. You're not bidding this out, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Councilman Jones?
The manager, respectfully, love your death. But city manager, what you're saying now confusing me. We're planning ahead. When Councilman Scott and Doucette was all on council.
You heard him say, Councilman Scott and Doucette, hey, they got all this stuff planned. That's the same thing I'm just saying. We've been supposed to have these plans.
Katrina, we're discussing street projects. That's not new to us. We've been discussing fixing streets. Now you keep it what we planning.
Councilor, when I say we're planning, this is just what we're doing today.
See, the problem is they want to get you to act like they do something. They want to reallocate the stuff. It's a replanning. Now, Jones, he said, Doucette, Scott, they've been on there trying to get this done. So understand, these people are bull crapping you, right? They are bull crapping you.
I understand, but John has got on board. John has got on board, so we understand that. But yeah, we've been in the planning stage for 5 or 6 years now, and we ain't got half the streets done. We plan on having done. I have 2 in my district, hadn't been touched yet. Been planning for 3 or 4 years. Everything's respectful to the matter. We keep planning. What's down the pipeline, keep planning, but we talk about contractors. Actually, right here in the meeting, I said we have a problem trying to find contractors. Remember that question? Ask me that question. We have a problem trying to find good contractors. You said yes, it's a problem. We've been asking this. We know every city looking for contractors. We should have been here. This deal 5 years ago, 3-4 years ago. We should wait to get now in a pinch and trying to find contractors. I don't know how we missing the boat by this street, but I guess we get them done one day. I'm done with it.
Okay. Brother John, is there anything else?
No, sir. I'm good. Any other questions?
Okay, City Manager, do you have anyone?
I'm good.
Okay. Any other information for the workshop? Okay, if there be no other information for the workshop, we will swiftly move now to our closed meeting or our executive session. Okay, Councilman Moses, you.
Just wanted to tell John, thank you for coming on board, and we look forward to working with you. We appreciate your report after being here a month, and hopefully we'll have some longevity and we can get some things done.
Yes.
We do appreciate your report and your update. Thank you for coming.
Yes, and I did want to thank Jennifer, Miss Jennifer. She's back at work, so we'll get these reports updated and a little bit more polished. Yes.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you to the whole entire staff. Thank you for your work, and we know that we're behind, but we're going to catch up. We're looking forward to a great working relationship and making some things happen.
Okay. And I'd like to add, and I would say from the entire council, thank each of you again. We can see some progress, City Manager. We have to plan some of these things in order to get them moving forward. And I believe that the influence of planning begins now because you have a different staff. Because I noticed.
You goddamn fool, right? Mayor Barty. Capital improvement projects, right, should have plans that would work regardless of if we have certain employees, engineers, mayors, councils, city manager. And what's the difference? The only thing you're just doing is reallocating streets. So what? What is the engineer is not really doing anything different. He just have a better understanding of the streets. But hell, nothing really has to change. You have plans. These plans are not subject to who's employed there. You understand what I'm saying? This will give employees too much power. So you need to have a standard operating procedure, an SOP, right, that informs new employees, anybody, regardless of if they're, actual street worker or the director, a standard operating procedure, how things should be done. You need to get streets. It should be a whole process outlined and how streets should be able to get done. So we shouldn't be planning for 2 or 3 years. Then, we got this new guy. What happens, Mayor, if this goddamn guy leaves before summer, right? Before summer when y'all plan on getting these goddamn streets done.
Some things weren't done, but that was a different engineer here. That was so different mindset.
Look, I see. Understand, right? When Mayor Bartiz starts babbling, starts talking this crazy shit that he don't understand, he's going to say different mindset. Look, this is really a clown show, man. You once you in the politics, you can read these people like a book. You can read them. He doesn't really have any logical information on what he's going to say, so he's going to say some crazy ass shit like mindset. Have a different mindset, man. Look, here we go.
Different procedures and approaches.
Procedures and approaches, Mayor. It's a standard operating procedure when dealing with streets. What different procedure and approaches are you going to do to contract out a contractor, Mayor? That's not an employee procedure or approach. That's a city approach, right? You're not going to change the legal documentation in the contract. Depends on which engineer is working. It should be a process that the city should always have, right? This shit doesn't make any sense.
So now I believe that we have a new approach, council persons, and let's give them opportunity with the new approach and the new personnel that we have to move forward in an expeditious manner. And I can understand frustration that council may have, but being the mayor, I want to be the buffer, and I want to be the person who would try to cause us all to work in harmony.
Mayor, how can you call somebody to work in harmony when you don't have a clue to that's what you're doing, Mayor? This is not a church sermon, right? This is not a prayer vigil. This is city government. A city government, you have to have some type of professionalism. You have to have some type of understanding on what you're supposed to do as a city government official, Mayor.
And peace and in a more progressive manner. So with this, we thank you for this information. And if it's 6 months from now, we come back and we would hope to see some progress. And within that period of time, I think that spring weather will be here and then we have a better understanding and projection. I just learned today that you can't pour asphalt streets as effectively in 40, 50, 60 degree weather than in 90 and 100 degree weather. So once we...
Man, look wrong. That's wrong, right? You can do asphalt between 50 and 90 degrees. 50 and 90 degrees. Now, truthfully, asphalt, it can't be too cold, but also it can't be too hot. So 50 and 90 degrees, that's from, you can say from March, spring goddamn break, right? From spring break all the way to November. Texas weather. Right now, you can hit around them good 70s, 80s right now. So it's still good. I would even say to December. So this around 9 or 10 months out of the 12 months on the year that you can actually lay asphalt. So that's a goddamn bull crap.
We know this. I will be looking forward to you all working streets for the next 8 months after that because we have that type of weather, okay, if you will. So I want us to be able to just give them that opportunity, and we're going to hold you to what you're telling us. Absolutely. Because the citizens are requesting that, I believe, from each of the individuals who are up here. And so I think you have something down.
Now you goddamn saying the citizens requesting what you believe. Of course they requesting to get some streets done.
That you can say, and what we have to do as a council is let the citizens know that we're working on it. And if they tell us that y'all been working on it 5 years, yes, we were, and we're still working on it. And frustration and non-compliance with what is being said is not going to get it done any quicker. Okay, so let's just try to.
Well, what needs to happen is to get you ignorant clowns out of the office. That's what we need to do. Get some of you that don't have a clue what you're talking about out of the office. And also, you may need to get a city manager. Ron Burton wanted to do what the citizens want to do and what a competent council should be instructing him to do, right? If you want to listen to these special interest groups, Chamber of Commerce, allegedly, all these other side groups telling you what they want you to do, right? Then you shouldn't be here. Your first priority should be the citizens of this city.
Put ourselves in the mindset, Council, that they are doing it, and to give them ample time, and if by reasonable amount.
Mayor, how much is ample time? We've already been about, 4 years? They're already 2 years behind on the, oh man, Mayor, you don't have a clue what you're talking about. There go, you start mentioning mindset again, just some intangible type shit.
Okay. It hasn't been done. And City Manager, we would have you back before us with some other answers, okay? Councilman Jones?
Thank you, Mayor, for your compliments, and thank you for kind of cooling me down a little bit, and I got a little excited this morning. I apologize about my frustration, but thank you for your comments that really shed a different light on things. And like the city manager said, April, May, and June, we'll see a different outcome. We'll see more things happening. So that kind of.
No, Councilmember Jones, you mean March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, going to December. That's when you should see some asphalt being laid.
That was music in my ears, and I see light at the end of the tunnel now, but frustration has set in, because I know we've been discussing it a long time, and as Mayor said, we have another engineer on board that works real aggressively. I see him in the field, him, Mr. Flood, and I see what's coming with those two out in the field, how they're aggressive. So y'all excuse my frustration. I'll apologize about offending anybody by me being frustrated, but I feel we'll get it done. So from here we'll move forward, and I'll apologize about offending anybody. Thank you.
Okay, Councilwoman Moses.
And I promise this is my last time, Mayor, but basically just stating and thanking you for your comments, and we do understand everyone up here is frustrated. I took office in 2015, and we've had 3 engineers. This is John, you're the 3rd engineer since I've been serving on council. And we've all talked about streets, even when we didn't have money to do streets in 2017, there was no budget. So in all fairness, we've seen the changes that have taken place, and we have to go with those that are in charge at the time. At the time that we look back at 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and now 2020, 2021. 3 different engineers. You're the 3rd. So I do understand the reality is we're all tired of it.
Ma'am, the reality is that you should, if I understand correctly, right, this is the first engineer that y'all have that's done streets. The other engineers didn't know how to do streets. So, what all is going to change from an engineer should not be stopping you from doing streets. We all should have a plan put together on how to do streets regardless of an engineer. That's what the city manager's here for, right? The city manager should have an understanding of all the things that's going on within the street. That's why we paying them $200,000. That's what he should have, that knowledge. $200,000, you should be able to run each department of the city. That's what you are here for, and that's what you should have. If you don't know, you should have an idea how to do it, where you can go and pull some standard operating procedures, right? Some information where you can go ahead and do it. A certain engineer, this streets is not really dependent upon that, right? And a streets program really isn't dependent upon a certain engineer. You should have the proper procedures in place where this should flow easily from an engineer to a deputy to anybody else. Councilmember Moses, you should understand that fairly because you used to be HR over here, right? But I understand that it really doesn't mean anything.
But the reality is we have to go with those that are in place and in charge to do the job that they've been charged with to do. And we have to keep our citizens informed that we are working on it. They're frustrated. I hit potholes like everybody else does, but we have to give due diligence and time to each person that's been in charge. Every time we try to support as a council every engineer that's been here. So the frustration is we are tired, but we certainly want to see things go forth, and we are here to work with you with how to make it happen with the manager and yourself and your staff, Flozell, the entire staff. But we are getting some hits from citizens, and it's not your fault. It's just what's happened. It happens. And so now we have to know how to move forward with continuity and with togetherness and trying to make it happen for the citizens. And all we can do is put forth our best effort. But thank you for, again, coming to us. But there is history behind what we say. It didn't just happen. And everybody needs to know what the history is. And I'm here to tell you what the history is. So thank you for your efforts. Again, City Manager, thank you. We just have to move forward and try to get it accomplished in the best way we know how. Thanks.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Lastly, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We just been planning. We haven't been moving forward. We've been moving. We just been running in place. Dude, we still on the plan and we already did a doggone budget. That's crazy.
And thank each of the council members. I think that one of the things that we can do, and I've liked what has happened with Councilman Kinlaw's district and Councilman Mark's district, and I think that as a city councilman at large, I'm sure that Councilwoman Moses would be amenable as well to going into the districts and and getting this information out. We have to realize our community. I know that we can put this information on the internet, the World Wide Web, whatever, but nothing beats boots on the ground as we go into the communities and spread this message and just put forth a deluge of information that we.
Frank, what in the hell are you talking about, right? This is the best way, having a council meeting on the internet, putting it on the internet so we can see what you're counting about. That's what the Open Meetings Act is talking about. This is not for you to go bring this shit to your church and talk to your church goddamn people. It doesn't make any sense. People, they think you're stupid. Councilmember Frank, how are you going to get to me, right? How are you going to get to me if you don't want to use the internet? What, you're going to come to my house or what? What are you going to do? We need this as a form online that everybody can get a look and view. Y'all going to get so close into getting some paperwork and get some calls violating the Open Meetings Act. I'm just telling you, look, y'all on some this crash dummy ass crap that y'all want to do everything like y'all want to do, man. Just it's sad.
Are getting this done, and so we will take what you do, and we will be the ones who will run the ball and let the community know that this is happening. I mean, they are wanting this done, and they talk about streets continually, and the best way to get this information out is just to go to them, get the information to our church meetings.
See, look, this ain't not no goddamn church meeting, Pastor. That's the problem. We run this shit. We run this shit like some goddamn N-words, right? Unfortunately, we run this shit like some N-words. Well, not all of us. Frank, you got Frank. Look, like to apologize from everybody that's not from Port Arthur that's viewing this. These folks aren't representative of Port Arthur people. These fools try to run this like some N-words. They don't want to use the internet. They want to bring this to your goddamn church meetings, Bible study, all this stuff that people not really worried about this. So, hey, if I don't go to your church, I'm not gonna get the information or what? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't pass the common sense test.
We have tomorrow. There are going to be some little gray-headed ladies at the New Hope Baptist Church, and I'm going to tell them tomorrow the street. And the best way to do it, telephone, telegraph, tell a little gray-headed lady, and the information will get out there. But those are.
But unfortunately, this is some of this clown ass shit that Frank and Borty like to spew, right? Both of them cousins. Both of them cut from the same dumbass cloth, right? On some bullshit. This is strictly clown bullshit. This is not about church people. This is a local government. This is not church, pastor. This is not New Hope. Nobody don't give a damn about New Hope. We need some things that all of the citizens can do. This is not just for your people in New Hope, Pastor.
The kinds of things that we have to do.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Marks, you wanted to say anything good? Okay, well, we are right now. We are completing the workshop. And again, thank you all for your participation in the workshop. We're ready to move to Roman numeral 3, which is a closed meeting, and we will go to executive session. In executive session, we will deal with the government code that in the state of Texas, Chapter 551 of the Open Meetings laws of the government code, which was formerly Article 6252-17, Section 2, subsection A. Prior to going into the closed meeting, I must and am compelled to make this following public statement. That is, in the closed meeting, we will deal with Section 551.071 of the Government Code to discuss and receive legal advice from the city attorney concerning a potential and or pending litigation claim between the city of Port Arthur and Jefferson County regarding the housing of prisoners. And Section Secondly, we would deal with Section 551.074 of the Government Code to deliberate the duties, responsibilities, appointment, and employment of the municipal judge, court judge here in the city of Port Arthur. If there be matters that we need to come back for action, then we will return. Am I correct, attorney? We will return to the open session and act on those matters if a motion would come out of the executive session. So at this time, we're going to recess to the City Council chambers below and have our executive session. Again, thank you all. God bless you. Where's 4 of y'all? It's 4. Okay.
Yes, sir. That was it. That was it. People, this is the crazy clown stuff that I am talking about. We have to understand, man, that look, it should be no place for this. There should be no place for this clown ass stuff we got going on, man. So understand, right? I have to keep you up to date with some of this ignorant stuff going on. Now, all the things may sound good that they're talking about. So I'm just here to fact check everything, to put it in context, because nobody really is doing this type of watchdog politics like I'm doing it, right? Besides me, former council member Doucette and some others, that's actually doing it. No average citizen understand has been following this as long as I have. So I'm going to give you a different context to what they're doing. I'm going to expose all of the lies and inaccuracies of what they're doing, right? They want to just, all of this is done, right, because they don't really want to do your streets. They really want to do this main artery vein, like they so-called claim it. That's why they actually didn't want to allocate some of the money, and hopefully I'll be able to insert that video in there where nobody asks where the $3.5 million is. But yeah, man, that's everybody, man. Look, go ahead and check it out. Hey, whenever you get this video, if you're just watching it, share it with somebody, and take it easy to another day. Peace.